Have you ever stopped to think that maybe we're living through something even bigger than the Industrial Revolution?
It's a pretty staggering thought.
Right. Because some of the key people steering AI's future, they think we absolutely are. And, get this, it might be happening 10 times faster.
10 times faster. That's quite a claim.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we've pulled together a really interesting stack of recent sources. It's mostly headlines, some excerpts from The Guardian, all from the last week or so.
So really fresh takes then.
Very fresh. It gives us a snapshot of the AI landscape right now.
And what's really striking, I think, looking at these, is just how fast the whole conversation around AI is changing. These sources, they really capture that speed, that scope.
Yeah, they do.
So our mission today really is to cut through all the noise. We want to pull out the key insights, give you a quick but well-informed grasp of where AI stands. We're talking economics, practical uses, and the big challenges too.
Okay, let's dive in. And maybe we should start with just the sheer scale we're dealing with here.
Sounds good.
One headline features Demis Hassabis. He's the head of Google DeepMind. And this is where it gets really interesting. He suggests AI could be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution.
Wow.
And maybe 10 times faster.
That's profound. Not just bigger, but faster. That acceleration aspect is key.
It is, and he's talking about an era of, quote, incredible productivity and radical abundance. It's not just tech talk. It feels like he's hinting at a fundamental shift in, well, everything.
Absolutely. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, Hassabis's words, they really underline not just, the potential for massive wealth creation, but a fundamental change in society itself.
Right.
Which brings up a huge question, doesn't it? Who's actually going to benefit from all this? How is it going to be shared?
Yeah, exactly. And the money flowing in. It absolutely backs up that incredible speed. Big tech has apparently spent something like $155 billion on AI.
Just this year.
Just this year alone, with plans for hundreds of billions more. It feels almost unreal.
It really does. And this ties into what one of the newsletters called the $1 trillion AI arms race. I mean, look at Microsoft hitting a $4 trillion valuation. Only the second public company ever to do that after NVIDIA, the chip maker. And it's all happening in the middle of this AI explosion.
$4 trillion. It's hard to even picture that kind of money.
It signifies a massive pivot, right? Capital is just flooding towards AI, betting it's the next foundational layer of the economy. It's not just about improving things, it's about creating entirely new systems.
And Microsoft specifically, they're putting in $100 billion. Meanwhile, you've got Mark Zuckerberg at Meta claiming superintelligence is now in sight.
That phrase again, superintelligence.
Yeah. And Meta is spending billions to push powerful AI out to millions of users. What does that actually signal for, the near future?
Yeah.
Is superintelligence really around the corner, or is it more hype to justify the spending?
That's a great question. There's definitely tension there between the, let's say, ambitious claims and the scientific reality.
Okay.
When someone like Zuckerberg says superintelligence, they mean AI that could potentially beat human thinking across the board. Not just chess or data, but creativity, reasoning, everything.
So general intelligence.
Exactly. But, the path to that kind of AI is still full of huge technical and ethical hurdles.
Right.
What these massive investments do signal, though, is this unprecedented push from the big players. They're committed to moving AI from theory into, widespread use. And fast.
Okay, so we've got the huge investments, the grand visions, but let's bring it down to earth a bit. What does this actually look like in, day-to-day life?
Good idea. Where is it making a difference now?
Right, because it's not all abstract. For instance, there's this really positive story about the first NHS AI-run physio clinic in England.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It's apparently halved waiting lists for back pain. Halved. That's a tangible benefit, right?
Yeah.
Solving a real problem for actual people.
Absolutely. And that shows AI isn't just about efficiency. It's potentially about precision healthcare and better resource use on a scale humans struggle with.
Yeah.
It shifts the view of AI from just a tool to maybe a co-pilot in healthcare.
A co-pilot. I like that.
But there's always a but, isn't there? There's a strong counter-narrative, too, especially around mental health. It shows where AI might not just fail, but actually cause harm.
Yeah, that's a critical point. We're seeing headlines about AI chatbots becoming, popular alternatives to therapy, people saying they feel like a lifeline.
Convenient, accessible, maybe.
But then there's this huge warning. Danger in seeking certainty in a chatbot. Experts are actually warning they could make mental health crises worse. What are the specific worries there?
Well, it really gets to the heart of convenience versus, critical human needs. AI might offer some basic support, maybe a feeling of being heard initially,
Okay.
but the subtleties of human empathy, nonverbal cues, the judgment a trained therapist brings, that's vital for complex issues. So the dangers are things like misdiagnosis, or the chatbot reinforcing negative thoughts, or giving really simplistic answers to deep personal problems. That could make things worse.
That makes sense.
Mm.
It's a tricky balance. What about other uses? YouTube's using machine learning now to guess users' ages in the US for age-appropriate stuff.
Yeah, and ChatGPT launched a study mode.
Right, for responsible academic use, they say.
Yeah.
Can you quickly unpack machine learning there? What's it actually doing?
Sure. Basically, machine learning is where the AI learns from huge amounts of data. It finds patterns, makes predictions, without needing explicit step-by-step instructions for every single situation.
Got it.
So for YouTube, it's looking at user behavior, content, maybe other clues to predict age. For ChatGPT, it's learning what responsible use looks like from examples, trying to help students without, just doing the work for them or encouraging plagiarism.
So trying to build in guardrails.
Exactly, trying to integrate it responsibly. But it also shows the ongoing challenge, right? How do you govern this stuff? How do you make sure it's used ethically and doesn't backfire?
And speaking of backfiring, or maybe just misuse, there was that story about the Airbnb guest.
The damage claim one.
Yeah, claiming images were altered in a false 12,000-pound damage claim. Now, it doesn't explicitly say AI did it, but it's in this cluster of AI news.
Right.
And it definitely hints at how easy digital manipulation might become.
Yeah, and that really points to the need for, critical thinking, digital literacy. Because when deep fakes or AI-generated images look that real, how do you know what to trust? It just underlines the potential for misuse and why we need ways to verify things and clear accountability.
Okay, so moving beyond just individual apps and users.
Yeah.
AI is obviously global. We see Jim Chalmers in Australia talking about turning algorithms into opportunities.
Right, framing it positively for the national economy.
But there's also this really important question raised. What does this whole revolution mean for the global south?
Yeah, that's crucial. And by a global south, we generally mean developing nations across Latin America, Asia, Africa, Oceania.
Okay.
And it highlights these really different viewpoints, right? How will AI impact different economies? Will it just make existing inequalities worse by concentrating wealth and power?
Or could it offer new ways to grow?
Or could it offer new pathways for innovation, for solving local problems in those regions? That's the big debate, ensuring the benefits are shared equitably.
And there's another interesting angle here, sort of pushing back against the whole big tech leads the way narrative.
What's that?
This idea of frugal tech, that maybe that will build us all a better world, offering an alternative to, billionaire-led AI development. What exactly is frugal tech?
That's a really interesting concept. Frugal tech basically prioritizes things like efficiency, making tech accessible, making it sustainable, rather than just raw power or maximizing profit.
So a different set of values driving development.
Exactly. It encourages us to think about different models, not just what AI can do, but what it should do, and who gets to decide that. It's really a call for more diverse approaches, maybe open source, maybe community-driven projects, solutions designed for specific need, maybe in places with fewer resources.
Fascinating. And, almost as a final thought, tying things together, we saw that Margaret Bowden passed away recently, the cognitive scientist.
Oh, yes, a real pioneer.
And she spent her life exploring how consciousness might come from, biochemical stuff in our brains. So it feels like a grounding reminder, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Even as we throw around terms like superintelligence,
Yeah.
we're still grappling with the absolute basics of what intelligence is.
That's such a critical point. Margaret Bowden's work reminds us that this isn't just engineering. At its heart, AI development is tangled up with these deep, fundamental questions about intelligence, consciousness, what it means to think, and that underlying philosophical quest. It shapes everything, the ethics, the goals, the debates around AI's future.
So after all that, what does it all mean for you listening right now?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
Well, from the mind-blowing investment and the sheer speed of it all, to the ethical tightropes and the practical ways it's already changing lives, AI isn't some far-off sci-fi concept.
No, it's definitely here. It's now. And it's evolving unbelievably fast.
What really stands out, I think, from this deep dive is just how multifaceted it all is.
Completely. It touches everything, doesn't it? Healthcare, finance, how we connect our mental well-being,
Right.
which demands, I think, both excitement for what it could do, but also really careful, critical thinking about the challenges, the risks, the things we haven't even thought of yet.
It's so dynamic. And that question Demis Hassabis implicitly raised,
Yeah.
who actually benefits from this radical abundance, this incredible productivity, that still feels like the central unanswered question for all of us.
Absolutely. And maybe here's something to chew on. If AI really is 10 times bigger and 10 times faster than the Industrial Revolution, how does that sheer speed change not just the world, but our ability, our capacity to adapt to it? What kind of new skills or maybe even new ways of thinking become most valuable when the world is being reshaped that quickly by machines that can learn?